Morning, Richard off SV Ananda. Just wanted to do a little short video about how we can generate power and make water, all with the use of sun and wind. It's a windy day today, well, windy-ish, 15 to 20 knots. We're actually going to take advantage of that for the next couple of hours, wait for the sun to come up. We're actually going to go kiteboarding, and when we get back and the sun's up, we'll put the water maker on, probably 2-3 hours, and we'll come back and do a little video and show you how that works. Catch you soon. The spot where we're currently anchored is a place called Koh Lipe in Thailand. It's not far off Malaysia. There's Ananda just behind the reef, and the reason why we really like it here is because we put the engine on the dinghy and we come up and park in this great little spot while we can actually kite from this beach here, and here you can see us kiteboarding. A little bit later that day, probably a bit too cocky. Wind's about 15 knots, not too windy, but obviously windy enough for me to think that I could get a little bit of what the kids call fat air, and there I go, down he goes, nearly 50 years old and still making himself look stupid. Let there be water! Hey! Well, we're back from kiteboarding, luckily in one piece, which is always nice, and we're now making water. Here we have about 40 to 50 litres an hour coming out of the water maker, crystal clear fresh water. We're making that currently on solar. We actually have two ways of generating power outside of running fuel. Wind vane, which you can see here, and we also have the solar panels. We've got 4 solar panels in 2 arrays. Each solar panel's about 140 to 150 watts, and the whole lot produces about 35 to 38 amps full time of the day. The water maker takes about 35 amps to run, so between 11 and 2 o'clock during the day, most days we're able to make about 100-120 litres of water, basically without the use of any fuel. Why I think it's really important, why I really like that, is the fact that it means we don't have to carry a lot of diesel and a lot of petrol, and we don't have to run engines to produce power and water, which the 2 main issues on a boat is getting enough power and water. It means we can stay in remote locations as long as we want. It means we don't have to stay in expensive marinas, and don't need to worry about continually filling the water tanks. Hopefully that's given you a little bit of an insight into Ananda and how we think we've set the boat up to be a really easy